Hi, today we're here with Lorri Feldt, who's the Regional Director for the Indiana Small Business Development Center. So could you explain a little bit about yourself and where you're from and what made you want to stick in Northwest Indiana?
Okay. I'm actually not from Northwest
Really?
Indiana. I'm from the Chicago area.
Okay.
And I'm sure there are like ugly acronyms that are applied to folks like me by some folks. But I've been in Northwest Indiana, for over 20 years now.
Okay.
Actually love the region. Came here by choice, originally because there was a great job that I was interested in having, and ended up getting married and raising a family here. Really different kind of motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was going through a transition period in my career, somebody asked me, why don't you work with small businesses? Give it a try. And I thought, sure, I'll try that. And I found that was amazing. I love doing that. I love kind of applying some of the skills and experience that I had working for some of those big companies for folks who are, very close to the customer and really working on a different scale, but have huge opportunities to grow those businesses, create jobs, and have an impact locally here. That's the other thing I really notice and love about working with small businesses. And then I guess I've been here for over 4 years now, not terribly long. But in that time, we've worked with, hundreds of entrepreneurs each year. So you begin to see the impact that all of those small businesses can have. And it's amazing. There is never a day that's like another day because in the morning, this morning I was working with a health management company. They help docs manage their medical practices. And then I spent a little time working with a startup entrepreneur who's working on a baseball practice facility. This afternoon I'll be talking with somebody with one of our cities about some training that they'd like to see small business owners get to improve how they're conducting their businesses. I mean, it's that array of different opportunities and challenges and types of businesses it's really fun.
So it just keeps you on your toes.
You hit the nail on the head. In addition to that, we definitely rely on a strong network of resources and stakeholders throughout the region. We try to have very good relationships with particularly folks who are in the lending institutions, banks, credit unions, and so on. I mentioned before, so many of our startups and business owners are seeking financing. So there's a lot of resources out there. We love to partner with different stakeholders, whether it's the universities or professional services folks like attorneys, CPAs, and certainly banks and other lenders. It takes all of us really understand what they want to offer. But are challenged when it comes to, how do I turn that into a viable business? And sometimes part of what we're trying to coach them around is getting realistic about how that particular idea might perform, let's say, in the marketplace or from a financial point of view. So it's more sort of two areas, market or money. On the market side, there's a tendency on the part of some entrepreneurs to kind of maybe fall in love with their idea, their product, their service, and underestimate how competitive it is out there. We customers and consumers have lots of choices. We're a wealth of choices out there. So to enter a market where there's a lot of clutter already, you really have to be offering something interesting. So challenges on the market side are one thing that we work with a lot. On the financial side, some folks really don't have like a comfort level understanding how cash flows through a business and really looking at a realistic financial plan for how this may work as a business, money-wise, how it may impact their household, their family, their personal, standard of living and all that kind of thing. They're kind of gung-ho, I'm going to quit my day job, I'm going to dive into this is going to be great. But, if you don't really think through all the impacts of starting a business down the road, you may realize I can't pay my bills as a business or as an individual person, and that's trouble.
Out there, just go and get it. What do you find that most entrepreneurs, what do you find is like keeping most entrepreneurs back from taking that first step?
I think most often what we hear as a barrier is the lack of capital. And it may not be that they need a bunch of money. In fact, we really advocate starting small, bootstrapping, really not necessarily wise to try to gather a lot of capital at the very beginning of the venture. Really more get a feel for the market and finance as you go. But people come to us most often saying, I want to do this, but I can't get the financing to get there, or how can I get the financing to get there? So I would say that's the number one barrier. At times, I feel kind of sad because we get contacted by somebody who's maybe started and things are not going well. Almost in a mode of desperation, they reach out to somebody like us. And it's tough then, because by then a lot has gone wrong. And it's kind of hard to unravel that. You can't undo what's already happened. So that's unfortunate. That really breaks my heart when I see somebody pour time, energy, money, sweat, and tears into something, and now it's really tough. Things aren't looking good. Can it survive? Should it survive? Is it best for them to continue to push that, or ultimately is kind of closing down that business and doing something else better for them?
I imagine that can be kind of interesting sometimes, giving information that may or may not hurt another business that you might have helped, or how does that kind of weigh on the organization?
Yeah, it is tricky, and at times that can happen where fortunately we have a team. So if businesses perhaps are in close or direct competition, we would have one advisor work with one of those clients and another advisor serve the other one. Our relationships are confidential. We don't share the information that we learn from a client about his or her business with someone else. And that is the most basic and most strict level of integrity that we have, how we treat our clients. One of the things that really excites me about our region is that a lot of our cities and towns are asking that question because they want new businesses to come to their towns. They want things to happen in their downtown area. So they're really becoming more and more attuned to the value of small businesses and trying to attract them. And I don't think that was always the case. I'm not sure what's changed over time, maybe just some of the challenges we've experienced as a region during the downturn might be part of it. Like a community like Michigan City, if you have an opportunity to go out there, that downtown used to be completely dead. And over time, over the past few years, the Arts District has taken form in Michigan City, and activities like First Friday events were the start of that. And it has grown to the point now where they have a whole building that's been renovated and turned into an art space with commercial space in the ground floor and artist living space in a 7-story building that used to be, empty and really badly run down and probably should have been gutted at some point in one of those industries. It hit the region so hard. So the great thing about some of what's changing now is our economy becomes more and more diverse. So, as trends change.
Instead of importing like shoes and food into a region to sustain yourself, you produce that to an abundance, point of abundance, where you can export it to other regions. Do you see that anywhere in Northwest Indiana? Or do you see that?
Exporting is a huge way to grow economy and jobs, and we see this. And this is sort of was kind of a quiet gem in our region. We have a lot of companies who make things and provide services that are sold all over the world. And I don't know that people always realize that. So even during the downturn, our growth in exports as a region was almost 200%.
So I guess in conclusion, where do you see entrepreneurial activity going in Northwest Indiana for the next 10 to 15 years? And how are you going to help it start and catalyze that?
Wow, okay. So I need a crystal ball for 10 to 15 years. I don't know. I mean, that's a hard time frame to
Is it a
think
hopeful
about.
vision? Is it a kind of stagnant vision?
Oh no, I think it's tremendously hopeful because I see so many positive trends in the region. One, there's a greater interest in innovation, in starting ventures. There's a greater interest in developing our communities and our cities. And I think all of that is sort of sowing the seeds of what will happen in the future. You know, maybe it's more like 2 to 5 years from now. It's hard for me to picture beyond 10 years. That's so long from now. But I think a lot of what's happening now will bear fruit in the near term and medium term because a lot of things are moving and changing and a lot of progress is being made. So I think the entrepreneurial future is extremely bright. I think there are more and more people who are getting creative, and we're excited about our small role in helping with that.
So if they wanted to find out more information about your organization, where could they go?
So we're easy to find online. It's always hard to give a website by video, but our website is nwisbdc.org. nwisbdc.org, and a graphic would be wonderful below that. Yeah, or we're easy to find. Just Google us, call us, email us, text us. Yeah.
Thank you for meeting with us today.
It was fun. Yeah, glad to spend time with you.